This cracks me up.
Nothing like a good thumbnail. Hey, everyone. My name is J Hood Creative. This is my good buddy, the Coach Vic 7. And I am a lifelong comic book collector. When I say lifelong, I literally do not have a memory where I didn't own at least a stack this big of comic books. I don't have all the early ones. I've rebought a few that I vaguely remember, but virtually my whole life, there's been like a few months gaps where I did not collect anything. So I can literally say I'm a lifelong comic book collector. Coach Vic, how long have you been collecting comics?
Has it been a year?
I was wondering the same thing.
I think we're coming on a year.
Yep.
Wow.
So one of the things I like to do on the J Hood Creative channel is to share my lifelong knowledge with collectors that are lifelong like me, or we just share knowledge back and forth, or share information with newer collectors. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to help my friend, Coach Vic, learn the ins and outs of buying and not selling. Selling is a whole different animal. Just buying on eBay.
Now, he seems to think I need this lesson because he has like this 87-point plan. But my whole system works just fine. I go to something I see what I like on eBay. I just make a link and send it to Jamie, and he tells me whether or not it's a good book or not. See, easy peasy.
I should pay you to have me on retainer.
I work here. I come here for free. Entertain your children's.
So what kind of books have you bought on eBay so far?
I bought a really cool lot of boom books, Abbott, God Shaper, and another series. It was funny because I just wanted Abbott, but it came with these other two miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, yeah.
Take it all as a package deal?
I bought a cool set of Lumberjanes Gotham Academy that I really like. More boom books. And then they threw in these two paper dolls.
I think there's both.
The yellow cover book.
Paper Girls.
Paper Girls books, which apparently I was told her those were the throwing books. I'm confused. So I usually like to buy like short runs of books, unless of course I keep looking for my dream books, and I keep getting priced out of them.
Okay. So we're going to touch on, all different ways of looking at this, how going after batches of books, sets or runs, or individual keys, or even just lower dollar books that you just need to fill in runs in your collection. One thing that we do, we're running the show live, but I want it to be kind of more evergreen. But since we are live, I do want to acknowledge people that are joining us. And we had Rob Boswell joining us first this morning. Big Will Comics is here. We have Hialeah Comic Bro. Hey, man, thanks for joining us this morning. Kay Titus joining us from Japan. Konnichiwa. C. Woodard 19 is here. Thanks for joining us, C. Wood. Discovery Bay is here. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Even though this is targeted at newer collectors, there might be nuggets in this somewhere for all you seasoned collectors as well. So with that said, we're going to do some screen sharing here, and we'll show eBay and how it looks, how I navigate it, how I look around in it.
Really, the comic books come up first whenever you go to eBay?
Good question. Let me preface this by saying people that have been buying on eBay for a while, we know the shorthand. We know it's like drawing left-handed or right-handed or whatever. So go to eBay, go to collectibles, go to comics, and you will land on this right here. Wrong one. There we go.
Okay.
So, and even when you get to this page, I don't love it. because you kind of have to choose what you're looking for at this point. And in my opinion, it gets too narrow.
Okay.
So, before we dive directly into buying eBay, I got a few just general tips, just as far as your thought process. Always be patient. You'll see a book you really want, and if you jump on the first one you see, you might overpay. If you see a book that you think is a great deal and you miss it, another book comes along. It's almost unheard of that you will miss out on a deal and never see that deal again.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for those first issues of Milestones to come back around.
There you go. I was going to say first appearance of Miles Morales, which I would say the boat might have sailed on that one.
Oh no, Milestone, yeah.
So while I say my first piece of advice is always be patient. Second piece of advice is if you see a deal, don't hesitate to jump on it. Point 1 and point 2 might seem like they're at cross purposes. You really need to follow your gut on this. What I would say is, as you're starting out, be patient. As you become more experienced in it, you'll learn kind of when you see an outlier deal. An outlier deal is where something just seems way undervalued. The price seems way undervalued on something. And that's the kind of deal you're looking for. You want to pay like the lowest amount.
Kind of like how Kenny got those 12 timeless covers for $20.
I'll go with yes.
You didn't see that last night?
I watched part of that stream last night. For those that aren't familiar with the YouTube comic book community, Coach Vic's referring to another collector like us that does YouTube content that found a deal. So always be patient. Don't be afraid to jump on a deal. Watch a lot, buy a little.
Yes.
And by watching, you'll really get a feel for what the price on a book, what a value on a book is, what the low end prices are, what the high end prices are, and on and on. Don't give in to the FOMO. What's FOMO? Coach Vic, do you know what FOMO is?
Yeah, buddy. Fear of missing out.
The fear of missing out. The fear that everyone else is going to get it and you're going to be stuck without that book that you want. And I think it doesn't sound nearly as cool, but the real term is FOPDom.
FOPDom?
Yeah. The fear of paying too much.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that book is never going to be gotten by you. It's that you're going to have to pay more than someone else. That's what we're afraid of.
And especially being a new person, I walk up, baby, look, I bought this book for $50. And he's like, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. I really wanted it. I said, yep, you did.
So why do we want to pay the lowest prices on these books?
Because cash doesn't grow on trees.
It's got nothing to do with it. It's because if we pay the lowest price on the books we want, we have more money to go buy more books.
Oh, yes, true.
Yeah.
I thought so we can brag about getting a deal.
Well, if you want to rub people's nose in it, you can. I try not to roll that way. All right.
That's a good point, yes.
Okay, so let's dive into eBay. I'll keep us little so people can actually see. Well,
see the money makers.
We'll start out this way for a minute.
All right.
So you're on eBay and you land on this page. So what's your first move? Oh, I want Batman characters. So you click on Batman. And then it asks you like what kind of grades. And it shows you pictures of a bunch of random Batman books. And there are...
Wait a second. Why is that in the Batman books?
Which?
Dark Knight's Death Metal 4.
Because it's got a Batman-esque silhouette on it, maybe.
Yeah. I guess I should read it first before asking those questions.
It's also a Greg Capullo cover, who is famous for doing Batman.
Oh, okay.
But when you land here, you just get a wide smattering of Batman books, including things like Coach Vic said, Dark Knight's Death Metal in this case, which seem somewhat unrelated. Young Justice, unrelated. So, yeah, this is not really that helpful at this point. It asks you shop by grade. Let's look at the different categories they have here on the left. You can narrow it down by the modern age. See, even in this, they don't give you choices for Silver Age or Golden Age even. You can shop by grade, whether it's signed or not. So this column, this filter column on the left, does really give a lot of search power, more search power than the actual results that they're presenting to you. Okay, so let's go a step backwards. Let's say we want a Bronze Age Batman book. So we'll click on the Bronze Age filter. Then it wants us to filter down more to superhero. And then it gives us a choice to go for Batman. Now, the problem with this is whoever is selling on eBay has to have set up their tags to have all that same information in it.
Okay.
So there, you could be looking for Bronze Age Batman, but someone would not know that the book they have is Bronze Age, and they say they click the Silver Age tab when they're setting it up, and that book will not filter into this.
Like for me, I'm like, well, what's the future? This is golden. I'm a Golden Age book. And I'm like, why am I going out to the future never sells?
Yep, exactly. So let's just dive into an example of what an auction looks like.
Cool.
Okay, so here we've got a Batman book. It's a minor key. It's a nice Neil Adams. You can place a bid, and that's pretty much the only option you have here. There are also other ways of buying.
That's how cool.
They have, you'll notice right here, we have all listings, we have auctions, we have buy it nows.
Okay.
So if you look at buy it now, we can find that same book at a higher price. And this is where someone's just saying, lay out $35 and it's yours, versus the other example we saw where it was an auction where you're going to have to put in a bid, and hopefully other people will not outbid you.
Now, can somebody, are there reserves put in place? Can somebody just like, no, I didn't get $25 for this book, so I'm just pull it off?
That is considered, I don't know if it's necessarily illegal. It's definitely bad form.
Okay.
Yeah, there's it's bad form by eBay sellers, and eBay itself looks down on that kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, in this case, we could, if you wanted to see where it started at, you can go down and let's see, you can find, you can click on the two bids. That's two bids. You can click on that. It will tell you what the bid history is. The starting price was $6. Two people have bid it up to $10.50 so far.
Okay.
So if you like this book, if you like it, you look at it. We'll go into examining product a little bit later. If you like this particular copy and you think you might want to buy it or bid on it, you'll hit add to watch list, and that will be added to a list of things you're shopping for. Okay, so all of this is pretty much rudimentary eBay shopping. This is kind of the first steps you learn as you look for books. But the truth is, there are different ways of shopping. Okay, so along with auctions and buy it nows, there's also make an offer, where a seller will allow you to make an offer on a book that's up for auction until a first bid comes in, and in that case it becomes an auction and the highest bidder wins. But you can make an offer early, projecting what you think it will go for, and see if the seller will snap it, will take that offer.
No, there's been a couple of times where I just watch something, and then I'll get an email saying that the sellers offer me the book at a lower price.
That does happen. So that's one benefit of basically put anything you see that you like, put it on your watch list, whether it has a make an offer or not, and sellers will come to you with lower offers. So what I like to do when I'm shopping is to use a combination of these filters. And one of the things to point out is you can sort by several methods. You can sort by the best match. So eBay thinks that if you're looking for Bronze Age Batman books, all these are the best choices based on what other people have searched for and what they have bought. You can also go by ending soonest. And one other thing, let's change this view real quick. You'll notice that everything is set up in a grid. I prefer to look at it as a list.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you go to list view, it will put everything that's available in order of when the auction ends. And in this case, it has not filtered out whether it's an auction or buy it now. It's literally showing everything. So what I want to do is go to auction, and that will show us everything that's ending on an auction very soon. So in this case, then this world's finest lot of 3 books ends in 4.5 minutes and counting. The price of $32.50 is the current price. So, okay, we're going to get out of this Batman search.
All right.
We're going to go.
Batman probably wasn't a good choice for you because you find yourself shopping, don't you?
Well, here I'm going to show you what okay, so I've got 2 young daughters. During bath time, I'm doing a lot of just hanging out. Okay, so I'll go to Silver Age Comics, superhero. We want to see them all. Come on, where are we going? Superhero. Okay, here we go. So, and then I want to see what's ending soonest. So this is showing me everything that's expiring under the Silver Age superhero category, and I want to go to auction. And here you can pick up a Silver Age Submariner for $5.50 plus shipping. Let's see, here's the case. The Superman's where the seller does not know what he has. It's set up under a Silver Age sale, which obviously is a modern book. So I'll sit during bath time and with this filter on and just scroll through, and you can pick up. And I'm not seeing any great examples. Here's a decent example. This Fantastic Four number 77. This is a Silver Age Jack Kirby Fantastic Four book. This particular copy is in pretty rough shape. We'll get into condition a little bit more later. But I have, by using this method, what you get is things will come to you. This is a pretty nice book here. Green Lantern 50. It's a cool cover. It's Gil Kane, a nice Silver Age Green Lantern book. So you could place a bid, and with no bids on the table right now, it's currently $10. It's a $15 book. If you found this at a show or a retailer, it'd probably be at minimum $15, probably $30.
So that buy it now price is a good price.
It's decent, but always consider the shipping as part of the price.
Oh, okay. So it's still $15 if you win the bid at $10.
Right. If you get it at $10 with $5 shipping, I think that's a pretty fair deal. There's a point when there are some books and categories where I'm like, if I can get a New Gods, one of the Jack Kirby New Gods books for a $10 in hand price, I jump on it. But at $15, it's a little bit more common, and I'd say that's probably the same case for this book.
Okay.
But I've picked up books like let's see, move that and make me big. I didn't pick up this book necessarily in this manner, but I picked up a copy of this for $20 shipped. This is Fantastic Four number 51. The condition of it wasn't quite as nice as this, but it is a pretty decent copy. So those are the kinds of deals you can find when you're using this method of shopping by of auction and we'll just keep on it. When you're using the auction and ending soonest. Now, this Batman's also nice. I'm getting caught up now. That's a pretty nice deal too.
That's why I said Batman's a bad category for you.
Yeah. So the opposite spectrum of this is another way to shop, and that is in this case, you're finding the things that have been on eBay for the longest time. They've slipped through everyone else's fingers, and you're kind of there picking up the scraps.
Right.
Okay. The total opposite end would be to go to newly listed and buy it now. And these are all of the freshest things that have been put up, and you can get them before everyone else can. Man, this is a tasty book too. I should not be doing this. If it were not for those color breaks right there, I'd be buying that book.
Oh, hit watch. They might offer it to you for $12.
So here, like I said, in this case, you're finding all the stuff that someone has just listed. And sure, a lot of it might be fairly to overly priced. But if there's someone that may not know exactly the value of what they're offering, someone that is just selling a stack of books that was left to them by their father or something like that, or they found them in an attic somewhere, and they don't know exactly what they've got, and they're just putting them out, a key comic book for $10 or $50 or whatever. You can find good deals that way.
I mean, all those deals I hear everybody else getting.
Yep.
Let's see, I saw a New Gods book for $90. I'm like, oh, that's way too much. Jamie said $10. Let's see.
Well, the run fillers. There are some keys in there.
Yeah. All
right, let's see. So we've done newly listed and buy it now. Just do that, and then ending soonest in auction. Okay, so if there's just something that you just want, you want it now. That you've got the Foptum. That's not even Foptum, it's the FOMO. You just want the book.
Okay.
We're gonna go show me the lowest price on a buy it now, and plug in that book you want into this shop by category. So give me a book that you're looking for, Coach Vic.
Spider-Man book. 76. Peter Parker made Spider-Man. Is it 76?
I think it's 67.
67.
Spectacular Spider-Man 64. I bet that's it. The first appearance of Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, 64.
Okay. Actually, we're still in the Silver Age, so let's back out of that. Let's just go to comics. And we're going to shipping and lowest first.
Ooh.
So You can take it home today for $69.99 plus shipping.
And you know, if I had it with me, I'd get that right now. I was talking bad about you and Batman. Oh, wait a second. Go back to the top of there. Is that a rip?
That's a rip. You can't live with that. This corner is even worse.
Yeah. Except for, well, we haven't got there yet.
So, but don't be fooled when you look through using this method, because sometimes if someone is paid to advertise their books, they'll actually put higher priced books ahead of lower priced ones because they paid to advertise to push their books to the top. Okay, lowest price. All right. Or you find, okay, so let's keep looking for this Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man. And we're going to do, go to ending soonest, and we're going to look by auction. Man, there are not that many. Are there not that many of these available right now? Let's buy it now. Best 200 best offer. Okay, there's no. Let's look for a slightly more common book that I want to see. And here's. Okay, is this an auction or is this buy it now? Let's buy it now. I want to auction.
I think you click buy it now at the top.
Did I? I thought I had auction. Okay, let's filter to the auctions. There we go.
Yeah.
It's still not a whole lot. That's okay. We'll look at this. This is a cool key book. Okay. So what you would do is you would add this to your watch list. Then you make a note. You'd put a note in your calendar that on this coming Friday at 10:20 p.m., check your eBay listing or your eBay watch list and come and see what this book is going for. And then you sit there and you have your review price in mind. It's the first appearance of Gwen Stacy. I'm not a Spider-Man collector, so I don't know what the true value of this book is in this condition. But let's say it's $100. To me, it's worth $100. Let's say that. Okay. So you come back at Friday at 10:20, and it's listed at $87.
Okay.
And you sit here and you watch until the clock counts down to about a minute. Then you click on your place bid, and you put in your maximum bid here.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice right here, that's the countdown.
Yeah.
You watch that countdown until it says 4 seconds, and then you hit bid. And if you haven't been outbid by that point, you'll have gotten your kind of your lowest price you're willing to pay in, or the price you're willing to pay in, and it's up to the force whether you win or lose at that point.
Yeah, I've lost a few books that way.
So let's and again, that's not what there's always going to be another book. So,
okay.
So these are
number one rule: there's always going to be another book.
Yep.
For people.
So these are books that are currently on my personal watch list.
I was gonna say this is the type of thing I would look at like, let me send a link to Jamie and see if this is a good deal. And then I never hear back from Jamie and find out, like in a couple of shows, that he ordered those books.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. So these are not necessarily books that I will buy. They're books I'm interested in. In some cases, I'm interested in them at the right price, and sometimes I just watch them to learn the value.
Okay. Well, the reason I'll be interested in them is because I did that trivia about Jack Kirby, And so those stand out to me. Those four books, was it For People, New Gods, and
Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle, and there's a fourth one. Oh, it was Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. Okay.
I got something for that.
Okay, so one thing to watch out for, or one thing to keep in mind, is there are certain times when people just aren't paying attention. Okay, the middle of the night.
I've heard that.
In
3 a.m. auctions.
In the middle of the afternoon when everybody is working, and keep in mind time zones as well. There are, like, say 3 o'clock Eastern is what, noon in the West. So at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock in the West, everybody in the country that has a full-time job is working during that time. So that's the hour to strike, because nobody can pay attention to eBay. So if you happen to be in a position where you can take a break anytime you want, are not supervised incredibly closely, you can find some nice deals, but you have to pay attention. And likewise, if you don't care if you make your family mad, if you're where am I at? Here we go. All right. If you are a person that maybe your family does not celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, if you got nothing going on, shop on eBay. When your wife is cooking Thanksgiving dinner the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, shop on eBay. If you did not get an invitation to lunch for the 4th of July, shop on eBay, because these are all times when people are busy with family. The shopping for comic books is the last thing on their mind. They've spent their money on Christmas gifts, or they're going to go Black Friday shopping. They're not going to spend money between the week leading up to Thanksgiving to Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day, because some people go and celebrate with family on Christmas Day, but Christmas morning, people get loaded up with cash. They're getting gift cards. They're getting their uncles giving them an envelope full of cash to go out and buy what they want for Christmas. So when you get to Christmas Day, the game's over. People are out overspending already. So
Christmas Day is the time you put stuff for sale.
Okay,
we're not, this different show.
So last Christmas Eve, we're sitting around playing dominoes, and I'm losing bad.
Oh, y'all play dominoes?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I'm losing bad, and so the last thing I want to think about is losing more dominoes. So I'm kind of flipping through my phone. I found a pretty decent deal on eBay on like 8 o'clock on Christmas Eve for some nice books. So if you want to be a scoundrel like me, shop when everybody else is distracted. Let's see here, more notes.
I got that bottom one covered.
Okay, like I said, like we've been talking about, watch everything you like, and you might get offers from the sellers to come back at they'll offer you a lower price. It's usually not a huge amount, and in most cases, it hasn't been enough to convince me to make a move. The one time that I did, the guy made me an offer, and he had everything on his page. It was 30% off. No, it wasn't 30% off. It was buy 2 get 1 free, or buy 3 get 1 free, some kind of deal like that. And I took him up on his offer and found more books and got something even on top of that.
Well, okay. I know. With our first issue at hand, we did the Hercules book, and I got the Hercules miniseries, and they took. I don't remember how much the shipping cost, but they said if you buy more books from us, you can fill up your box basically.
Right.
So I just went and searched through, and I think I got like 3 or 4 more little mini series, 4-book series, and just threw it all in there, and it didn't cost any extra shipping.
Yeah, especially if you're looking at low cost items, whether it be a small run, an individual issue, you want to amortize the shipping cost because it's going to be about $5, and some of them go up to 8 or 10 for an individual, and some trying to soak you for like 15. If you get into slab books, they're always going to be about $15 because it takes that much to safely ship a book of that value. Let's see. Okay. So let's talk about using eBay as a tool. And when I say that, we're talking about using it as a price guide, using it to determine what your books are worth. So if I go back to my screen here, like I said, I keep track of a bunch of stuff that I like, and you'll see I'm watching more than one copy of some things. And that's because I'm kind of tracking what the current price it goes for. I shouldn't be showing this. People are going to find all the books I want. And the more you use eBay like this, the more you will get a feel for what books at certain prices go for. And remember, it's not, and this goes back to the shopping when people aren't paying attention. A product is worth what someone's willing to pay, and B, it has to happen in a very specific point in time where an auction is scheduled to go off at a certain point, and the bidders on the books are either people that have put in their highest bid and they kind of walk away, or there's people, snipers like me, sitting there waiting to bid on this book. And it's only that few people that are running up the price of the book. So if you're the only one there sniping the book, your chances are pretty good you'll probably get it at the price you want, or less than the price you would have paid otherwise. But when you're using eBay as a price guide, you have to keep in mind that sometimes that happens when somebody saw that newly listed buy it now for a bargain and they bought it, and that drives down the average. Okay, so let's go back to your Spectacular Spider-Man. And in this case, instead of looking comics, oh, this is number 1. Let's go to the 64.
All right.
Let's make sure we're still okay. Yep. So there are more. I was filtering Silver Age, I think, when I was looking for it before.
Okay.
So let's take a quick look at this one. It expires in 1 day and 5 hours. You will find that a lot of comic book auctions end on Sunday evenings, with a theory being people are chilling out at the end of their weekend, sitting around looking for books on eBay.
Okay.
And I've seen it happen so many times that I've heard people say that and didn't believe it. But having watched eBay sales and when they end, that's when they end, Sunday evening, for a lot of sellers. So with a little bit more than a day left, this book's at $50 with a $6 shipping.
6 bids on it so far.
Yeah, and it looks like a pretty nice copy. And again, we're going to go over kind of evaluating images like this in a minute. So if this book did not go up anymore, if it stayed at $51 plus $6 shipping, a total of, in my mind, $57, is it worth it? Well, let's go down and filter into sold items.
Yeah, that's a new thing you showed me. I didn't know anything about that.
And see, this is one of the things that people, especially beginners, really need to know, because this shows you from the past, say, 3 months, everything that is sold.
Wait a second. Scroll back up. So slabbed one went for a cost of less than the cost of slabbing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you were to, I mean, the fact checking as far as, finding the value of graded books, I would go to Go Collect, because they will give you the price, the current fair market value for free.
Yeah, but I would just want to own the book. I mean, $22 for Entombed.
That would have been the one for you, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're my mentor. Low grade is the best grade.
So yeah, see a 36 or 1365 shipping. So see roughly $22.
14. So what, $36?
$36. Yep.
Yeah.
For that price, yeah, you would crack that open and read it.
No, I have a digital copy of it.
Let's see what this ungraded one looked like. These are going to be some good examples to come back and evaluate from the standpoint of the listing and the images they're showing. Yeah, this is it's better than 5.5, but not as nice as that one that's currently up.
Yeah.
Here's one for 60 plus $5 shipping.
Only $5?
Mm-hmm. And that looks like a fairly nice copy. Maybe not quite as nice as that one that we saw that's available now, but not bad. So if we were to say, okay, I'm going to make this my baseline. Looking at this, it's a fairly nice copy. The one that's available now is nicer. So the one that we see that was about the $50 sell price right now, would say, well, that's going to be worth more than 60. So that starts a price somewhere above there.
Right. Hey.
Great Legends checking in. Always try to make an offer if you can to do some haggling action. Yep. Sometimes the seller might be willing to let them go. It's true. So just looking at it from standpoint of trying to place the value on the book. This guy says it's a 5.0. I tend not to trust sellers on their grades. So always, I mean, it's not that you can't trust them. You can use that as an idea. Okay, he thinks it's that. I'm going to go in and look at it. Maybe it's better or worse.
Right.
Just looking generally at what the books are going for raw. See, 30 or 33.
See, they weren't
43.
these inexpensive when I first started looking at them, were they?
Okay, so the interest on books ebbs and flows. So always keep tabs on the books you're looking for. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what that what this one that's listed at 51 goes for. I'm betting, as nice as it is, it might be up closer to 100.
Okay.
I'm just guessing. Okay, and that leads me to another thing. Okay, so you put in the book you want. you put in all listings because you're interested in all copies of Spectacular Spider-Man 64. You'll know some are going to be listed that are out of your price range, but you want to know like what's out there.
Correct.
So you hit this little button right here. It says save this search.
Okay.
And when you do that, under my eBay, come on, my eBay, go to saved searches. And what that does is it puts a list together of your saved searches.
Okay.
And let's see, where is Spectacular Spider-Man? You know this. It's got a link here to unsubscribe from an email.
Okay. Yeah, because I usually get email notifications.
So eBay will tell you every time, it will send you an email every morning telling you what new copies of Spectacular Spider-Man have been put out.
Okay.
And then that way you can look at it and see if somebody's got to buy it now on a nice looking copy at the price you want. You can jump on it right there.
Okay.
And I think this helps two ways. It helps you know what books that you're interested in are out there. You get that email if you're interested, or if you want the email. But otherwise, it also gives you a way to kind of list out the books that are kind of fresh on your mind, the ones you want. So if you've got a spare 20 minutes waiting on the girls to finish up in bath time, you can just go through your list of saved searches and see kind of what's out there right now.
So like every time I text you about a book I come across or hear about, I just go ahead and lock it in on eBay.
When you say lock it in, what do you mean?
I mean, search for it and save the search.
Yep.
Like when I asked you about Storm's wedding to T'Challa. Can't remember which book that was. If I would just put it in on eBay, I get notifications every time new ones became available.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So now we are going to really go back and evaluate the product, evaluate the listing.
Okay.
So, and I think we're going to go through. No, we'll just keep it here and see how it goes. Okay. Here we have two listings, both same book. One offers an idea of the grade, one doesn't. Fairly similarly priced. They're both buy it now. One's $44.99. One is $49 or $40 even. And the thing I want to kind of just bring to your attention is the one thing that is hard for people, maybe even outside the industry I work in. I'm a graphic designer. It's hard for them to understand that the way these images are generated are two completely different ways. This listing, the book was put on a flatbed scanner. It could be an all-in-one. Anybody can buy a scanner at Office Depot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they've laid the book flat on the scanner, scanned it, and that's their image. On the second one, someone has taken a photograph. And the main clue that I can give you is that the photograph shows some distortion where the comic book is not a perfect rectangle. It's more of a trapezoid.
Yeah.
Because you can see the depth of the field. Yeah. So why does that matter? When a book is photographed, you get light. You can pick up on how light is hitting it. And this is going to be, okay, so they've taken it out of the bag here. And I like to use this feature where it mouse over to zoom, because it's actually bigger than if I actually clicked on it. You don't have the ability to enlarge this image. That's as big as it gets.
Okay.
But when you are zooming in, it's actually even bigger. So if you're taking a photograph, there's more of an opportunity for the cover to catch light. And when I say catch light, I mean in this area up in the right corner where you see that light spot. That's not ink that is rubbed off. That's just the light reflecting on the cover. And that gives you more opportunity to see any wrinkles or warps that have happened in the handling of the book. This particular one looks fairly clean. It doesn't look like it's got a whole lot going on. It's fairly flat. We do get to see that little nick right up there in the middle.
And on the spine, is that the spine tick? Is that what you call it?
Okay, so it's got a little bit of a blended corner with a crack up there.
Right there, where Spider-Man feet are.
That's a little bit of a staple pull.
Okay.
Spine tick is right here by the P. You barely see it. It's a really small one. There's a little spine tick here in the green. This book has plenty of them.
Okay. I see what they are now.
Yep. And they can be bigger and smaller. Generally, if they happen by a staple, it's more of a staple.
I was going to say now at the bottom there, above the barcode, is that another staple pull?
Yeah.
So it's the width of a staple?
Yep. So, and I'll get into that, a few things to look for in a second here. Okay. But just generally, as an example, this is a photographed comic book. Now let's go back and look at the scan.
Now, does the surface make a difference?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So with the scan, the fact that they're laying it flat on a flatbed scanner, and this might actually be a photograph. It could be. Because we are picking up some light here on the corner. If it were a scan completely eliminates any of the warping that could happen in a cover. So it's a little bit harder to judge condition on something that's been scanned versus photographed. But yeah, this generally looks like it's in similar shape to the other one. It's a little bit rougher.
Yeah.
We've got more color loss here along the top edge, more noticeable color breaks like in that corner there. About the same amount of spine ticks, I would say. And yeah, the whole bottom edge is the color just chipped off the edge from reading it.
And this was listed at 7.5. No, the other one was. No, this was listed at 7.5.
Right. So like I said, take the description as kind of an idea. I would say this is probably lower than a 7.5. I'm not a great grader. I'll admit that. But I've bought a book that I've been told was a 7.0 that was in better condition than this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking over here at your Green Lantern. That looks like it's a better condition than this.
True facts. So if we take that into consideration, this might be about a 6 or 6.5. Well, not a 6.5 because you're right. My 6.5 GL is in better shape.
We'll see. But the good thing now that you actually have a slab that's been graded, you actually have a baseline, so to speak, that you can go to, right?
Yeah, point of reference.
Yeah, point of reference. Thank you. Fair word.
Okay, so the last two examples we looked at are fairly nice as far as what the seller is supplying you with. Now, this one is, it's okay too. It's not what I thought it was. Let me find an example of what I hate to see in a listing as far as the images go. And of course, I'm not going to find the example I'm.
What are you looking for?
Just generally speaking, this one is a scan because you see no variation in the black on that. It's because the color or the light that's used in the scanner is beamed directly at it. So there we see no directional. That's a pretty nice looking copy for $79. It should be. I'm looking for an example of a cover that has been cropped off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen those. It was like it was just a bad picture.
Yeah.
But you don't know if it's a bad picture, if it's intentional.
I'm going to go to book I've been looking for that I know has a bad example of this.
By the way, it's only a bad example if you're not one of our subscribers.
That's true. You can never find what you want when you're looking for it.
Maybe it's old. Actually, scroll back up. With that one down there, on the down one at the bottom, would that be it?
This?
Yeah.
No.
Or is it just a black background so you can't tell?
It's a black background.
If that little tiny edge at the top is kind of.
This is it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, this is a terrible, terrible listing as far as the images go. The guy says he grades it a 6, which it's not in the 6th grade. It's not in junior high school. It's a 6.0. So the guy does not even list it as the proper name. He wants $150 for it minimum. You can't zoom in on it at all, and it's a fuzzy picture, and all the edges are cut off. So you have no idea what you're getting from this.
And the bottom looks like it's shaved a little bit.
Well, it's because he's edited off the edges,
okay.
Which is not as bad as cutting the actual comic book. But I am not gonna. There's no.
Like he's trying to tighten up all the flaws out of it.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. And okay, here's another tip as far as shipping. He's offering $2.80 for economy shipping.
Oh no.
Which is media mail, and which is technically not allowed by the Postal Service because comic books have ads in them regardless of the age. Anything with an advertisement in it cannot be shipped media mail.
Oh, I just if I'm spending $150 on a book, I want them to spend a little more than $3 on shipping.
Okay, so let's use this as the perfect example of a bad seller, because let's look at his seller information. He has a feedback rating, meaning 4 people have given him grades. His feedback rating is 4.
That was a 5-star.
And he's not sold anything recently, not in the last 12 months. Chances are he might have just put this out there. Couple things. He could have put this thing out there and forgotten about it, or it's a scammer. And you're never going to get this bad looking book, regardless of whether you paid your money or not.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like, just based on what little I've learned from the community over the past few months, is that he's not somebody who collects comic books. He happened upon this book somehow, because even if the edges were messed up or a little bit, it seems like it's a book that's still worth whatever the price is, but people just want to know what you're getting.
Right.
Was that fairly accurate? I mean, because some books, like you had the one book where it had a little bit of a tear in the cover, but I'm not saying maybe it wasn't you, somebody else, but it was like $150 book or something. But the thing was, they knew what they were getting,
right?
And they didn't have any problem spending that much on it.
Okay, so let's look at what are we looking for when we look, not the quality of the scan, or the photograph. And again, this one is a scan. But what are we looking for when we look at the pictures? We want to know that it's got decent lighting, and in this case, I would say it does. We can clearly see the whole image of the book. It doesn't look yellow, or brown, which can happen when a comic book is when a photograph is taken in low light or bad lighting. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I like to look at that's immediately apparent whenever you look at it just from this distance, you can't see any large color breaks. it's hard to see in this example because the background is black and the book itself is black. Usually at this distance, you can tell if the corners have severe blunting or more blunting than you are looking for in a book of a given grade. But once you zoom in, we can see the corners are nice and sharp on this particular copy. Let's go find a copy that's on a white background.
I was going to say, it looked like that one might have been cut off on the edges.
Man, this guy wants a pretty penny for this book. And this,
he must think they're coming back.
okay, so this is why you shop, because we all know that we've seen already that this book is not worth this kind of price. He wants $360, or make an offer. Send him an offer for $40 and see if he'll take it. And okay, so this is an acceptable image, but it's not the best because it is blurry. But we can clearly see that that top corner is blunted. We can see that this corner is pretty good. We can see that for the most part, that top edge is nice, except for that one little nick over here. We can see innumerable spine ticks. Again, we're not judging the book itself, but the image, the information that the image is giving us. The bottom edge is fairly nice, a few nicks. The corners slightly blunted. Looks like the outer edge has a couple bends in it. A very slight crease right there on cloak. So yeah, this gives us a lot of information. And then it shows us the inside cover, which I like. Not a requirement, but I like to see, it's good to see the page quality. It looks like a White Pages book. This is not the best photograph. This is, whereas the front, yeah, I guess it does have a little bit of a yellow cast to it, so the lighting isn't awesome, but the lighting's worse on this because it's actually affecting the color of the whites. It's making everything look a little bit golden. And then we get to see the back cover, which we want because the back cover is graded just as much as the front. We can see the flaws along the edge.
Yeah.
A little bit of dirt on there. Overall, not terrible looking though. The one thing that concerns me a little bit on this one is we have to see the staple, the lower staple. We want to be able to see the staples in the images somewhere. So that lower staple looks fine. Looks like the book might have a slight miswrap or rolled spine. But what we don't see is the top staple. And we can kind of see the dent right there, the two dents at
Where
the top.
the staple should be.
Yeah, at the top and bottom of group, I would assume that's where that staple is because it kind of, the whole book kind of dents in there. And we couldn't see it at all from this angle. So I'd be hedging my bets on this book if I were interested in it. It's a bit of a risk not knowing if that top staple is popped. And this is a case where you kind of have to judge the era of the book. I would bet in this time frame, this top staple's fine. I would gamble it if I were interested in it. It'd be great if we saw an interior centerfold so we can make sure that the centerfold is not detached. Again, in the Bronze Age, or the Modern Age, I guess is considered a modern book. That's not terribly common that the centerfold would detach, but it's a risk. Here's another case of a pretty bad listing. Somebody's got a fingerprint on their lens. And not a bad looking book, but it's not enough. Doesn't give us enough information because it's only the front cover. The spine looks pretty good. Staples are good,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna spend $120 on something I can't see the back cover on.
Okay. So you want to check out the corners, the edges,
You want to
and
see,
staples.
yeah. And I'll give quick, one of the earliest lessons I learned. This was the first book I bought. Showing this one again. This is the first book I bought on eBay, and I was able to see that the staples were attached, and they look fine when you look at them, but there is a crack in the paper along the top staple on this one, so that if I mishandle a book or even risk sending it in for grading, there's a chance that that staple could give way, that the paper's kind of just holding on just underneath the staple.
Okay.
There's a crack directly behind the staple, so the paper is broken. So if that paper slips out from underneath the staple, it won't rip. The staple will just become detached.
Okay.
Or the cover will become attached to that staple. So it's always a risk. So make sure that when you're buying, you're paying prices that you know are safe, even if a surprise like that pops up. But that's why staples have become kind of, besides the edges, the staples are the number one thing for me.
Wasn't somebody collecting old staples from old books and reusing them to fix books?
You can do that for rusty staples, but if a cover becomes detached, it cannot be repaired. It's a hole in the book where the staple goes.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a good listing. Well, I say it's good. You still got a blurry photograph here, which is forgivable. These guys are amateur photographers. Pretty nice looking copy.
Yeah.
Shows us the back, which is cool. But I really like this when they show the corners. A nice close up of the corners. And the thing is, we see that and we're like, ooh, it's got that serious corner ding. Keep in mind, this is so much larger than life that the real, and this is even bigger than real life. Yeah, it's good to see close-ups of the problems. If you just want a nice book and you're not going to have it graded, and you just want to have a nice copy of whatever it is, and you don't have to have a 9.8 mint condition book, you can forgive things like this.
Right.
Because once you get it in hand, you're barely going to see it.
Now, it's $15. Is that a good deal for shipping, or is that too much?
No, that's a big red flag. He's saying $15 for economy shipping. Let's click on the see the details. What method is he using? It's just a regular ground. It's not medium mail, but $15 is expensive for an ungraded book. Regular mail to send a book in a Gemini mailer is $5, give or take, 5 to 7.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say the starting bid on this looks like an attractive deal for the book in this condition. But yeah, that shipping price is a big turnoff.
Like he's trying to make his money back in the shipping.
Yeah. I want to find somebody who's giving us more information in their description. Let's see what we can find here.
Yeah.
Back.
That's what was interesting.
Oh, that's the one we just looked at.
The one guy gave us all the pictures, but he didn't really tell us what was wrong with it. I've noticed that a couple of times where people tell you everything. 8.5 to 9.2 for $30.
Well, I mean, he's giving you a range, and he might be a guy like me that is like, hey, it's a nice looking book, but I'm not going to tell you it's a 9.8 because I don't have the ability to back that up. Either I'm not familiar enough with it, or with grading, or he's just been burned too many times. He doesn't want to give. This looks like a great looking copy.
That's what I was thinking.
$30. Oh, it's okay. It's an auction. 12 bids. It's going to go off tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I like it when they do this. They show the interior.
Oh, it looks nice inside too.
Yeah. It looks compared to the background it's sitting on, it looks a little bit yellow. I would just guess it's the lighting. I wouldn't think it's going to be that yellow in real life. I love it when they do this, when they show this picture of the spine, because then you really do get an opportunity to check out the staples and get a close-up of any spine ticks. Where when we looked at the front view, we didn't really pick up on the fact that there are a couple really minor spine ticks along there, right through the center.
Okay. Oh, an even closer view of it.
I love this guy.
You'll make him a preferred seller.
I do have a few preferred sellers. Well, here's the thing. He's got a 0 seller rating.
This might be his first book.
Well, we're going to check out what else he's got because he knows how to show off a book. But these are great photos.
And $6.15.
That's fair. So what does he tell us? He's got all kinds of information. He knows this is the first appearance of Cloak and Dagger.
Newsstand variant.
Yeah, most of these books. Well, that's not. I was going to say most of them would have been newsstand back in this era.
Mm-hmm.
Could grade higher with professional cleaning and pressing. I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of room for improvement. He tells you we cannot offer media mail, so he understands the whole media mail thing. Because some people will say, yeah, go ahead and send it to me in media mail. I don't care. Because the person that gets penalized is the recipient. They have to pay additional shipping.
One thing he did, I think, is interesting. He put the grading system down there. Is that standard?
It's not everyone does it. Some sellers do.
So
yeah.
So he's telling you the reason why he thinks it's in between an 8.5 and a 9.2.
Well, he's given the whole. He's cutting and pasting all that in all of his listings. So let's see what else he's listing. I'm just curious now. Fifth Dimension Comics. He's got a ton of stuff. Why does he not have a rating? I see your comment there, Big Will. We'll do that.
What?
He wants us to look at his page and give him a critique. Oh, he's got some good books.
Maybe he's just starting out.
And that happens. Some people get booted off eBay and they have to come back and start new. And
Well, I remember when you and I were talking about possibly selling books on eBay, like, if we have no rating, somebody's going to buy our books.
Yep. I'm going to watch that one. Ooh, that goes off today at 9:30 at bath time. I'll be able to snipe it.
Hey, we're here for you, buddy. No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
No, he does have people that are brave enough to bid. His stuff has got bids on it.
Well, he has 2 Cloak and Daggers.
And he's saying this one at a lower price point so far is a nicer book. And I think he's got his grades mixed up. This is a lower grade one, but he's saying it's a 9.4 to 9.6. All right, let's see what else we got to cover under evaluating the product. Unseen flaws. So I don't know that this guy's going to tell us anything. Let's go back a minute. Let's just see what someone has to tell us. That's the same book. I keep clicking on the same one. Let's just pick this one. It's not the one we're looking for, but seller notes featuring the second appearance of Cloak and Dagger. He believes it's a 7.5. Take a look at my many different books. Combine bids to save on shipping. That's one thing to keep an eye out on. Like we said before, see if the same seller's got more of what you want and put together so you can cut down on that shipping. But usually what I would do, and this is more on Silver Age books, I think, is where if I see something that the price just doesn't seem like it makes sense, where say this is a Silver Age Fantastic Four book, it's $22. Buy it now with a $6 shipping. I'm just making up an example here. And I look at the book and I'm like, that looks like it's like maybe a 6.0, a nice looking silver age book. But the price seems very low. Is there anything wrong with it? Then you go down to the description and you read through it, and he's like, tape on inside front cover, or centerfold detached, or lower staple detached, or something like that. You find out the information that is not indicated in the photographs.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. So evaluating the seller is our next bit here, and we will see. I might need a little help because it's kind of tough to find a seller. Big Will, can you tell us how to find a seller on eBay?
I just type in the search.
No one is selling a Big Will Comics 88. Let's see. Can we shop by a cat? Those are the only sellers I've saved. It's an advanced search. Okay. This is riveting. Riveting, I'm telling you. Let's find things. Find stores. Let's see. Surely you have a store. He's just a seller. By seller. There it is. Sellers. So items from. There we go.
Ooh.
All right. Okay, we got he's showing Deadpool number 11, 9.8. It's Guardian variant. I gotta tell you, I don't like the glare I'm getting in the image, top of the image, Big Will. And it's because the image isn't like perfectly clear. It's a little bit pixelated. So I would just work on your lighting when you take photos. And I know photographing slab books is extremely difficult. So I maybe find another seller that does more slab books and get advice from them as far as their photography setup. So he's offering free shipping on his items. Let's see what information does he give us? Ships U.S. priority mail, so he's going to be paying like $15 himself out of his pocket. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of extra information, and when you're selling a 9/8 slab books, there's not a whole lot more you need to say.
Right.
I mean, you could even get away with not the best picture, because all you're looking for at that point, I would think, are flaws in the slab itself, any scratches or chips or dings or things like that. I got to highlight a comment here. People might get a heart attack. Let's take a look at this Wolverine one here.
See, what he really wants you to do is see the Wolverine book, because he knows how you feel about Wolverine.
Well, I'm a fellow Wolverine fan, but I'm not I could have used that 9.8 white pages one day, but I don't know if it would won as well as Saga Unslab did on Commodores. But all right, and then I'm going to guess we're going to get the same information. Yeah. So yeah, Big Will, send me if you list a ungraded book, send me the link, and I'll let you know what I think at that point. Okay. So we've talked about paying attention to seller ratings. The seller rating is it gives you an idea of how much you can trust a guy to deliver on what he is promising. And you want to, in my opinion, have seller ratings with 99%. And if at 99%, you want to find out what knocked them. So in the last 12 months, do they have a neutral or negative rating on anything? And if they do, look into it, see what the problem was. And then this generally, if it's a lower rating than you are comfortable with, some people say they only want to buy from people with more than 1,000 seller ratings, meaning they've sold more than 1,000 things. Big Will here has only 306, so some people might hold back on buying from him. But if they get this far, they can come and see that he's delivered on what he's promised.
Yeah.
He was able to deliver to someone a 9.8 CGC book without any problems. Customer was very happy with it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people are generally satisfied with Big Will.
Right.
So
A+, A+++.
And it's good on the buyer when they're listing some information on what they felt was a good part of their transaction. I'm guilty of kind of blowing it off and leaving feedback like months after the fact, just going back and leaving a bunch of feedback on all the stuff I've bought recently. And usually I don't supply a lot of information, but it's good that eBay now shows like the description of what was bought and sold, because I think that helps.
I mean, like the one time I bought a book from somebody, and it took like, about a month and a half for them to arrive. I gave the seller a good rating because they were constantly in communication with me. They're constantly checking on, finding what's going on, and so on and so forth. And eventually they refunded my money. But it wasn't the refund of the money that I wrote about how they were constantly communicating with me, and they were on top of everything, and I really appreciate that.
Yep. It's definitely good to do. Let's get back to our Spider-Man search. Okay, so let's go with this guy. He's offering, it's a new listing. What's his best offer? Or he's offering you to make a best offer on he thinks it's worth $99.
Got news for you, son.
You don't think it's worth that, do you, at this point? Good for you. So here, I mean, make an offer is the seller. You can look at it. It works two ways. The seller's putting the book out there for a low price. He knows it's going to go for more than what he thinks it's going to, or maybe he would be willing to settle for less, and you could offer him less than his $99 asking price. Usually, what I would do if he's offering make an offer on a auction that he's starting at $100 price point, if it's a book that I think is the book he's selling is worth $100 right now, I make him an offer at his starting bid.
Okay.
And then then it's up to him. What was he after? Was he after his end game? He thought it was going to be a $250 auction. No, he's going to hold out and go for more. Or he's just trying to move his books. He put it out at $99, make me an offer, and maybe he'd be willing to sell for $80, with shipping. But what if you like the book, but you think there might be something wrong with it, but you're willing to take a gamble? What can he offer? He can offer the ability to take a return. In this case, seller does not accept returns. So If you think there's anything questionable about this book and you don't think you're willing to take that kind of risk, go find another book. If he's willing to take returns, and you are willing to if you receive the book and it's got a flaw, you're willing to pay the $5 to send it back to him, go ahead and buy the book, check it out. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, return it to him.
Okay.
Let's see.
See, I would think I would think like $100 would be the max. And he thinks it's a $30 book, but you never know. Somebody like, I'll give you 50 for it.
So I'm going to show you a couple case studies.
Okay.
Let's go to my watch list. And we're going to go to your watch list keeps track of stuff that's already ended.
Ooh, Mr. Miracle.
Yeah. So I'm going to show a case study. Last week I've been hungry to buy a Mr. Miracle #1. And it's not a FOMO thing. I didn't think it was going to spike and I was going to miss one. I had one and sold it. I just wanted a nicer copy. So I went out shopping and I watched this one. And this is a case where I did not follow my own advice. Okay? So this book was let's look at the bid history.
36.
This book started at 99 cents.
But the guy knew he had something good, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
So he listed it as key first appearance, Mr. Miracle. He knew what he had. Let's read it. Higher grade, very fine plus or near mint copy, very solid, tight, and sound book, creamed off white pages. So I saw this as an auction, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. So it was one of the many copies of Mr. Miracle books that I watched this week. And I lost track of this copy because I wasn't paying attention, and I should have waited, because here's what started me out. Sorry to go back so many times. Back. Go back. Hopefully we're still streaming okay. Yep. No. I was mad at myself because I missed out on this copy. I was watching this one. This one went off last Saturday night at about 7 o'clock.
Right in the middle of your auction. Right before the auction.
It was before the auction. Maybe it was Sunday. The auction wasn't a factor. And it was after I sold the book. So it must have been Sunday. When was it? October 12th. I don't know what day that was. It was during the week. But when did it land? When did it go off?
Sunday night.
Supper time. I was watching this book, watching it, and I was like, everybody's sitting down to supper. What am I gonna do? I would have put in an offer for $125 on this book, because that's what I think in the grade I want. That's about what they go for. Mm-hmm. And we sat down to supper, and I was like, I'll be the better man. I'll look for a copy later. I put it down, so I did not win this copy. So I was a little bit chapped about it.
But wait a second, the $3 standard shipping though, isn't that a red flag?
I would have told the guy, look, I'll pay a little bit more and ship it regular.
Okay.
So I found there were two other copies I liked. And so this was the one I landed on. Now, this is more than the $125 I was willing to pay. But he had to make an offer button. So I didn't like that top corner, but I liked the fact that it had next to no spine ticks on it. I didn't like this bottom corner. And again, fuzzy pictures.
And you had itchy trigger finger at the time.
No, there was another copy that I was comparing it to that might still be available. I'm not sure. That had a buy it now for I think $109.
Oh.
So it's pretty much apples to apples to the one I missed on. I thought both of them were pretty apples to apples copies. So I sent this guy an email and a message and said, "A, can I see more pictures? I wanted to see better pictures of all the four corners." So he sent those to me. I saw that there's one color in this whole mess of this crunch corner. There's a color break. And the other corners are somewhat nipped off, but not bad at all. And the edges were pretty good. And like I said before, when you look at these larger than life photos, flaws like that little speck missing down there at the bottom corner aren't as bad as they look when you see it in person.
Okay.
So he's offering free expedited shipping. And I was concerned about that because usually if somebody's throwing in the shipping for free, I'm afraid maybe they're going to chintz out and try and sell it media mail. He only had
or put the manila envelope.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Oh.
He had a seller rating of only 62. So I was like, look, I'm a bit concerned because your seller rating is low and you're offering free shipping. So what do you do when you ship the books? He got back to me and said, I'm selling my own personal collection. On a book that is as valuable as this one, I'll actually just put it in a box and I'll ship it to you in a box rather than an envelope, which that's not what you want to hear. So that's how I came into owning this one. So you can see the glare off it, cover up Victor's face.
Man, that's cool.
Will it focus? Will it focus? It's not going to focus. But yeah, it's got, you can see the color break in the corner. It's got a little nick in the top edge, but the rest of it is as expected.
Nice.
You can see that little white fleck down there at the bottom, but it's barely noticeable. And I was not looking for a 9.8 copy. I was looking for a nice, decent copy. But that's how this all went down this week. I was in contact with the other seller of the other book I was interested in. And the other book, it didn't have the corner problems. It had a little bit of color loss right here where the color had rubbed off of it. And it had better photos in the listing than this one did. So that if we went back and looked, the color in the photos did not look great in this. And the other one, I think, was on a scanner. So the colors were nice and bright, vibrant. But I figured they're probably color-wise both pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up landing on that one. And that's kind of what inspired me to go ahead and pull the trigger. And when the opportunity came to me with a little bit of time this morning to put this video together. So that's kind of it. Like I said, I didn't want to necessarily go into every aspect and detail of eBay. I just wanted to share kind of my experience and some of the techniques that I've learned over time on how to find the book, get it at the best price. Oh, by the way, the offer I put in, like I said, I was willing to go up to 125 on the other copy that I lost, that I wasn't able to bid on. Shipping would have been added to that. Since I heard this guy's using a box to ship, I was like, that's worth a little bit to me. So I put made an offer for $120 shipped. So it was more than the 109 that I missed, and not the 125 I would have spent plus shipping otherwise. So
nice,
decent deal for a copy this nice. Like I expect this one, if I were to have it graded, would be an 8.0 copy. Which, when it comes to grading, I'm not after particular grades. I just want nice looking books, nice presentable looking books. So
preach.
Any questions? Any additional thoughts? Anything you want more clarification on, or?
No, I mean, I understand the whole process. I understand everything. I think. I mean, don't get it twisted. You're still getting a text.
Believe me, women like to shop. I like to shop on eBay. I like to shop for comic books. So, if anybody's ever got any questions about anything I've talked about, if you've got your own techniques that are different from mine that you found success with, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm here to learn with you guys. So, anything else?
No, I've been entertained and educated.
Hey, how do I put it on my thumbnails?
Infotainment.
Infotainment. That's what J Hood Creative is all about. All right. Best of luck, guys, on your hunting and searching for your favorite comic books. I hope you find those keys and those run fillers and those grails. We're all after our grails. I hope you find them. I hope you find them at the price you like to pay. eBay it's a labyrinthine place. You can get lost in it. It's so large,
True.
especially if you don't know exactly what you want to find. But you'll find better prices there than you will at a retailer or a show, things like that. I use eBay as my kind of internal price guide. And when I go to shows, everything is like double or triple. It's what all those sellers that are on eBay that put their stuff out at $350 for that amazing or that spectacular Spider-Man 64 that's like a 6.0 copy. It seems like that's what retailers do at shows.
Okay.
Use eBay. Like I said, be patient, study your books, study what they go for, watch a lot, buy a little. You'll get a feel for what the true value is. And once you've done that, you can go out and you can strike and you can find it at the price you want to pay or less.
Or less.
So thanks, guys. That's going to be it. We'll wrap this up on J Hood Creative Channel. We remind you, keep your priorities straight. We love this hobby, but first comes faith, then comes family, then comes comic books. See you next time, guys.